Mr. Sanjiv Bhasin. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting my invitation. It's an honor to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, and great, great lines you said. I don't deserve that much of applaud, but really impressive.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, so let us start with your early journey itself. According to me, what I feel is that your childhood and your early career determines and have a significant impact in your career ahead. So what role has your childhood and early career played in your life?
Yeah, good point. So let me tell you, from my initial days when I was in St. Columbus, and under the strict guidance of Irish brothers, we just learned two things: excellence in studies and part excellence in sports. But I was always lured by the stock market because elder families were involved in that, and I was always intrigued in the type of money which was there and the way the stock market behaved. Though it was a learning experience. And in my later years, my father used to give me the burdensome chore of learning five rates every day. That time there was no technology, so all you had to do is read the paper. And I was interested in the cricket headlines and the latest. Rather than that, I had to memorize five stocks. But imagine how that played out. My father kept. Today, I can tell you almost 3,000 stocks at the split of a second, whatever their price is. Because what is etched in my memory is that I read every day. It's not just opening your phone and seeing the. So that recollection has played out very, very positively. And in fact, I can tell you Tata Steel's monthly dispatch numbers, which most will not. You'll search because it's a tracking way of staying ahead of the market, which you need to be at this time.
Right. That's a wonderful point. And in fact, reading is like one of the most significant habits which even we as teenagers or adults need to imbibe in this point of time itself. And that's ultimately going to help us to do our thorough research as well. We also got to know that you used to share your classroom with Shah Rukh Khan. So just on a lighter note, did you teach him about stock markets as well? How was your experience that time?
No, Shah Rukh was two batches junior to me, but he was a cricket addict, avid, and I was extremely talented. Just to tell you, I played for Delhi schools. I was the college captain, SRCC in three sports: cricket, hockey, and Shah Rukh was extremely talented. Not only in the mimicry he was a very talented sportsman. He was a very talented, in his academics, and he used to look up to us for guidance on the cricket field and so on. But little did we know that over the years he would develop into what he is. But like we said, Columbus was a family or an institution which brought all types of caste, creed, and levels together. We were told to be very, very humble. And luckily, I've kept that humility even today when the stock market makes me go all wrong.
Right. I think that is one of the most important traits to master as well, like being humble no matter how much you achieve in your life. And these school days also, they make me feel nostalgic that the school friends which I also have and this childhood days, I think they help you to become or grow as a professional. So that's wonderfully said. Now, coming to your turning point in life, everyone has some amount, or maybe everyone has some turning point in their life which changes their perspective, the way they look towards their life, or maybe they think about that moment and that moment has completely changed their life. Was it something similar for you? Was there one turning point itself which really changed your perspective towards life as such?
Yeah, so I got an early experience into the stock market after being a first class graduate. My SRCC, I did my internship in chartered accountant, but I was lured by the market. And that time the market was an outcry system. Now, getting your feet into the market with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of knowledge, but little experience, meant that there was something missing. So when I joined the market, I learned a lot, but unfortunately got bitten by the speculative trail. And that time speculative was the be all end all, because the markets were shallow, and we got caught up in a couple of bad trades on the Orke Reliance front and so on. And I made a lot of money first, but I suffered the loss. The loss was an experience in learning that there are no free lunches in this market. And if you are a trader, you have to demark yourself from being an investor. Don't take both the lines. There is a very thin line between a trader and investor. And that early learning experience was the hard way of learning. And that is why I tell everyone that first understand what you are doing. If you don't have a perspective, if you don't know whether you are a trader or an investor, you will end up losing on both sides. So that was a very hard experience or a learning experience, but it came at an early age, so I could rectify myself over a period of time.
And I think since you're talking about trading, investing, and in the stock markets as well, just coming to that aspect as well. Now, if there's a person who's in his 20s or has just started his embarked on his professional journey, and if he wants to decide whether to get into stock markets, pursue it as his career, So what is the thought process which we, the young individuals, should have in our mind before deciding whether we should pursue this as a full-time career or not? And if yes, how do we start our investing journey?
Okay, good point. Now, let me tell you, I had only one ambition, that I have to be in stocks. I wanted to be a test cricketer, but I could not. My father, by the way, played for rest of India versus West Indies, and he was almost at the helm of playing test cricket. So I was, I had to follow a big footing. But my academics took over, and I realized I was good, but not all that good. And the next best choice was stocks. Now, getting into the market, I learned all about the markets. And like you said, you have to choose your niches. Whether you are an institutional broker, whether you are an advisor, whether you are in an AMC, whether you have asset under management, whether you have a trader, or you want to make the easy money, of all need lot of experience and learning. There are no easy ways, but there are no difficult ways. In the end, I call stocks शादी का लड्डू. जिसने खाया वो पता है, जिसने नहीं खाया वो. So even if you watch from outside, you'll get lured. Just as in, at 16,000, everyone has money, but they don't want to touch stocks. At 18,000, you don't want to be left out.
Yeah.
Now, I have seen these cycles. But like I tell you, my advice to the youngsters are, India is in the best spot ever. Ever in my 33 years, I have never seen. And you have only one way, and you will only grow. Now, that means you must understand whatever way you want to specialize in all the ambits which I've told you. But I see no recourse where 130 crore people have just 8 crore demat accounts, and this number is only going to jump. So
Right.
for you, my humble advice would be, get into managing assets.
Right.
As you start to manage people's money, with your age, you will mature. And with your maturity, once those people make money, learn to make money for people. Then you will get your confidence, your money, and you will brace your capital. When your
Right.
capital grows, then the risk taking comes, and then all. But don't take too much of risk at an early age,
Yeah.
because the setback can be detrimental.
Right. So all in all, like, we should have that experience firstly, and with that experience, the learnings which we'll have, that'll help us in order to decide whether to do this as a full-time career or not. And just on your point on 16,000 and 18,000 which you bought, कि 16,000 में लिया या 18,000 में left out हो गया. So again, this is a part of behavioral finance now. Behavioral finance theories state that humans are irrational. There are many theories as well. So wanted your opinion on this, that if let's say a person buys any stock and if it goes down by 50-60% or maybe if it goes down by 20%, there's this concept of panic selling. He'll be like, अरे यार बहुत नीचे चला गया, अभी तो इसको बेच देते हैं, without looking at the fundamentals or maybe without even analyzing कि इसका आगे future क्या है. So how can a person detach himself from any stock which he is buying? तो इससे मतलब emotions को detach कैसे करना चाहिए stock के साथ?
So very good points. Now, there are no easy pathways for that. You have to go. Now, like you said, 20 years back also I used to recommend to friends and family that buy these stocks. But they said, we all know about stocks, don't worry. They'll spend their wives Sunday in choosing a car and waste for 5,000 rupees arbitrage. They'll waste the whole Sunday. But if you give them a tip on Reliance, they'll lose 5,000 rupees at the blip of an eyelid. It meant that these are easy things. They are no easy thing. Now you have the concept of SIPs. You have the concept of mutual funds. You have the concept of research. So it's like Warren Buffett. Now I don't say Warren Buffett is always to be aped, because he made money over a period of time, and his concept was that if you can sit for 30 years over a good business, you will inherently become financially independent. You don't have to grow. But in today's age, did anybody think that Ford and Nikon will become zero? Or digital technology and new age EVs will become the star? So the change in scenario is so rapid that you have to be part and parcel and monitor your portfolio. Sometimes cutting losses is a very, very painful decision, but necessary. However, like we say, the brand, the peer group, a lot of other things which come into play make stocks expensive, but it's good to buy expensive stocks because they have a pedigree. They have a whole history behind them which makes them choice of the best. And that's what you have to do. So constant monitoring of circumstances, changes, and the environment around you. 20 years back, I didn't ever imagine that I would be such a big, person on TV and digital. But the last 2 years made anybody on digital a kingpin. So it meant that everyone sitting at home because of COVID saw TV and so on. So change in rapid technology and the new age of fintech, which led to astronomical valuations, and then you had this crash. So for whatever, so change in circumstances is the main thing which you have to see in the environment around you.
Right. I think that's very well said. And in fact, adapting and changing to the circumstances would definitely help you in order to like grow and master the art wherever you go in the future. So that's absolutely true, sir. And just on your point of, let's say now, behavioral finance we've touched upon. Now, one thing which I feel is that youngsters like me, I'm 23 right now, and a lot of my friends, what they do is that if they see short-term money in any stock, they'll sell that stock and say it to everyone कि अरे मैंने 20% एक हफ्ते में कमा लिया. If one stock goes on upper circuit, they'll sell it immediately. So my view is that building patience is very important and not going for short-term money, but long-term money, that should be important. But the problem with our generation, including me, is that जैसे ही short-term money दिख गया, we are like कि चलो यार इतना पैसा मिल गया, 20% बहुत ज़्यादा है, इसको एनुअलाइज करोगे तो अरे कितना हो जाएगा, सबको मैं फ्लॉन्ट करते बैठ सकता हूँ कि मैंने इतना पैसा कमाया है. So what is your view on this, and how can a person like me imbibe patience in order to benefit from long-term investing?
No, don't mix that. I'll tell you why. Because you are young.
Right.
I won't get 23 or 25 again.
Right.
And my heart rules my head. When I see a smart or a sweet looking girl who talks sweetly, I get carried away. So love dominates my head. Same is the case with stocks. The short term, everyone wants that adrenaline rush. Okay. That's why you have this millennial jumping into options trading, because they realize, did anybody ever realize that cryptos would be such a big fad? I still don't understand. My son came one day and said my 4,000 became 40 in 2 weeks. Can you ever do that? I said no. I said, but don't keep it to more than 20. Keep it to that 20,000, even if it becomes zero, it's okay. But this is life. We cannot measure everything in the best perspective. Otherwise, we'll become aged at 2 years. So enjoy your life. Take that little punt. But like you said, as maturity comes, you'll realize. If you didn't take that punt, then you'll never understand what is losing in a market and where you went wrong. But that's your heart. That's age. With me, it's experience. At a certain age, I will be much more wiser because I've been through those. But don't replace that. The age of falling in love or doing what you best like is only which you can do at your age. However, like you said, if you start by 23, 24 and invest for the next 20 years, I can tell you historically, you will be financially independent at the age of 45, which cannot happen in any other asset class. Because long-term 20 years or 25 years of holding stocks can give huge gains. I'll just give you an example. The Infosys IPO came at 1993 at 93 rupees. If you bought 100 shares, you got 10,000 rupees or 100 shares. 93 is what? 29 years back.
Yeah.
The issue didn't get fully subscribed. If you had vision and you stayed put, can you believe what that 10,000 today? It's 4.2 crores. But did you have the patience and the necessary, conviction of staying for 29 years? You would be the richest man. Just 10,000 rupees. Now, inflation adjusted, you can say anything. But that's the miracle of stocks. And they can be more like this. I can give you more. But how much of conviction and wherewithal would you have to stay on your winners? The same thing you would have bought JP, 50 rupees would have become 10. You would have not sold it. So the old parlance is sell your winners and keep your losers, which is the wrong part. But with age and maturity, it will come. So let maturity come. Everything cannot be done at an age where, you are meant to enjoy the finer things of life.
Right. That's wonderfully said, sir. And since you also spoke about cryptos, now coming to that hot topic of cryptos and NFTs as well. Now you've been reading, and you're a fond reader as well. You like to read a lot. And in fact, we've been reading in news articles as well, the prices or maybe the volatility which is there in the crypto market, or people are earning like 100%, 200% within weeks and all. So again, on this valuation front itself, do you think there is an intrinsic value for these cryptocurrencies, or do you think it's a bubble of cryptos and NFTs which is going to burst in the future? Your thoughts on that?
No, so I would say it's not a bubble. Okay. Now, I also questioned it for a long time. But I would say there is a need of an existence of such a market. The problem is because it's such an immature market, it sees huge volatility. I trade the options. I know the geeks. I see enough volatility in that itself, which makes me attune, but the common man cannot be. So this is the youngsters or the millennials who mostly participate. Most of the account, if you see, is off. However, the seasoned investors say, who have made money, that this is here to stay. The parallel currency of dollar, gold, and the other is going to be there. Now, I am not an expert on that, so I won't be able to comment much. All I can say is, if you had part of your investments in this, if you are a risk taker, 3 to 5%, then you must take part, because we don't know the future. It could turn out to be that these are doubling, tripling from here. However, like we said, in the short run, the volatility being so immense, for us to track it becomes very difficult. Because it's in nobody's realm that in a day you could be up 50% or down 50%. So I am happier with the ones, the necessary evils I do, that is the derivatives, options, and which I trade on mostly.
Right. But again, your thoughts on, do you think there's some intrinsic value, underlying value for these cryptos?
No, as a fad, when it's growing and the market cap of a lot of these are changing, it tells me that the new age may be something like that. Now, who thought that gold, ruble, and dollar will be under so much of immense pressure? Now you're talking of a ruble exchange rate. So there is a whole world of change in environments. Crypto can be part of that. Accepting that Elon Musk has already tweeted and made crypto go haywire both sides. So if he's he's just taken a stake in Twitter. So that tells me that he's ahead of times. We'll take it with a pinch of salt that he maybe drives markets, but he has the vision to do that. Who thought that EVs will be the way he thought, or who thought that his space research into Mars? And now either the person is very, very intuitive, part of it is luck, but he's definitely skillful. So I am not an expert on this. I won't be able to give, but I know that coexistence of this can carry on for some time.
Right. Now, just similarly on this private markets valuations of startups which are booming, and like in India only in the last few months itself, like total there are 95, 96 unicorns in India, 44 were in last year, and there are some 15 unicorns in the last 3 months itself in India. The valuations are like exorbitant. VCs and Ps are throwing a lot of money in these startups. So again, as a person, like, do you think these valuations of startups are justified, sustainable? And what is happening is that if these startups go for an IPO, for example, Paytm, it went down by 70% after getting an IPO. For example, other companies like Zomato also, it went down by significant percentage. So do you think that these startups going for public, they are going to suffer, or these valuations aren't sustainable, the ones which are in private market versus the ones which are in the public markets?
So it's a very easy way of presenting what it is, but all these guys got the luck of the chance that the index was 18.5. The pricing was perfect. Some part of it should be the blame on the merchant bankers that you never left any room on the table for the new investor. However, there is a constant flow of whether some of them will make it or not. Now, if you see the largest shareholder in Zomato is Naukri, which is his cost is 1 rupee 28. So he has nothing to lose, but he's been there for 13 years. Do you have the vision to stay with an asset for 5 years? Then only you'll see the return. So 3 to 5% of this can be again allocated if you have a 5-year window. But please don't chase it on a month to month or a week to week or a quarter to quarter, because you're not going to see money. And the gross value additions, or whichever way you make this perspective, a lot of them are trading at very, very inflated valuation. I am a brick and mortar man. I can tell you the numbers of Ultratech or a Tata Steel, where I think there is immense capacity to grow, where the valuations are very, very humble. So I would say commit small amounts, but keep a 5-year window. Only then you will prosper. Otherwise, you will get bitten in the dust by the herd mentality, which led to these IPOs creating market caps of 1 lakh crore and excess. So excesses happen in any bull market. In fact, this time, the whole unbundling, if you see in the US, stocks have lost 80% and all on digital fintech. So a lot of these may be large multi-cap unicorn, but for them to go through that, it takes a long gestation period.
Right. And you also mentioned about the fact that you're very bullish on the Indian economy and people should start betting on the Indian economy as such. Any specific sector which you're bullish upon in the Indian economy as such, which you think will outburst in the future? So
see, let me put it, I'm quite candid. I'm an Indian patriot. I'm a bull by nature, and I see no let up. All we hear is inflation is US is 70 years, and that's happening there once in 70 years. We have bitten the bullet. We did not do printing at the time when US was printing all guns over. A. B. We did not print money. Our inflation, our RBI governor is very benign. Our food inflation is relatively under control. The only underdog is the price of oil, which is relatively. If you saw oil 20 years back, 120, there would have been a problem. But your reserves are running strong. Russia is giving you oil at 35% cheaper. India is in a sweet spot both in Russia and in US. Our neighbors are under their own stress because of Sri Lanka and Pakistan for whatever reason. China is in a weak spot because globally it has still not taken the blame game for COVID and XYZ, and India becomes the best destination. The demographic premium of reopening is huge. Can you see the rush on the airports, on the roads, on the people? So yes, inflation will bite, but the reopening itself will take you to new highs. I have no two ways about that. And the next 5 years, according to me, belong only to India.
Got it. No, very well said. Just to ask you a couple of generic questions as well. We've discussed a lot on stocks, startups, cryptos, etc. Before we get into the rapid fire round as well. So, how does a typical day in your life look like, and what would be your day looking like in your life?
So very, very tiring, but lovely. That's what my job is. I'm passionate about my job. I get up at 6:30 daily and I write my market mantra, which goes to about 7.5 lakh people. It has to be sent by 7:30. I don't do a template. I write on the spot what to buy, what to sell. I have a success ratio of 76% on the 2 calls which I give you both in the derivative. And then it's my part puja. I believe a lot in God, so she gives me the strength. After that, a light breakfast, and I'm to work by 8:30. And then the whole day, you know what markets are all about. But they grow on you. That's part of my life. I cannot stay. So my wife says, is the market. And that keeps me going. Then you have TV shows, clients, the whole day passes. 4:35, I take a break. I go to the gym. I try and run how much I can, or swimming, one of the alternatives. I, by nature, in the last 20 years, I've also excelled a lot in Vedic astrology. And that's my hobby. So I do a lot of reading. I help people get through tough times. But that's more intuition and something which I very, very prophetic about that, because it gives me inner calm and something as a nature to help people get through a little tough time. And by the grace of God, by 9:30, I'm fast asleep.
Right. No, that's a very well balanced life, and guys, we should all learn how to manage so many things at the same time. So that's a thing which we all need to learn as well. And how would you, let's say, define happiness, and has your happiness level increased as your net worth increased?
No. Net worth is nothing to do with happiness. Is what I get from the investors. You know, whenever I go to a gathering, I was just recently, I went to Chandigarh. There were 250 people. And you won't believe the selfies they wanted to take. They said, sir, in Punjabi, they said, "Asi Aishwarya Rai nu nahi dekhna, tonu dekhna hai." You know, in meaning that they said, "Nahi sir." I said, "My face is." He said, "Nahi sir, face nahi, tuhadi awaaz." So it tells me the adulation you get grows on you. It makes you. I am not pompous, but it does give you a little bit of an air. However, happiness is my daughter. You know, she's after both my sons. She's 10 years younger. She's as outspoken or more than me. She's a par excellent, she's 98. She's gone to Warwick. So she takes all my happiness, the family. I'm a family oriented man, and these small things do add up. Also, my elder son has just opened a new restaurant, and he started to do well. He was passionate about that. He was in a consulting firm, but he said, this is what I want to do. So I'm very happy that he's doing what he loves.
Right. That's very well said. And ultimately, if you're going to follow your passion, you're going to build something great, because loving what you do and doing what you love, that's ultimately going to help out. Last question before we get into the rapid fire round. If you are in the shoes of Kushal Lodha and you are interviewing Sanjiv Bhasin sir, what is that one question which you would like to ask him at the end of the interview?
So I would say, Kushal, how are you so brilliant? I mean, really, I have not seen more brilliant and better spoken people. And I come from a very, very well spoken pedigree. You know, the Irish brothers, they imbibed Shakespeare and Thomas Hardy into me. But hats off to you.
Thank you so much, sir. This really means a lot to me. Like, coming from you, it's an honor. So last five minutes, we'll just go with the rapid fire round. The rules are very simple. You have to be as candid as possible, which you are on everywhere on TVs and all. And you have to be spontaneous. So you don't have to take time to think before giving any answer. So let's start. So first question, if ever your autobiography is made, which actor would you like to play your character?
No, I would like to play not a character. It would be Hardy Sandhu, the Punjabi singer. I think he's bindas. Look at the way he is, and I'm a Punjabi by nature. So I love the songs, and I like the carefree attitude.
Got it. One investment that you regret the most?
So the investment which I regret about, JP Associates. I bought it at a high price, couldn't get out, and it's still there in my portfolio.
Okay. If you woke up as the following people tomorrow, what would you do? Elon Musk.
No, I wouldn't smoke weed, but I would definitely enjoy the adolescence which he's getting. Thumbs up to him.
Bill Gates.
I'd be watchful of my affairs.
Jeff Bezos.
Well, the next space to the moon will be another event in the making.
Lovely. React in one word to the following: Sensex.
Life.
Cryptocurrencies.
Undesirable life.
Stock markets.
Love.
Money.
Means to an end.
Cricket.
Passionate. Oh, very, very passionate.
Wow. Select one thing out of the two. Trading versus investing.
Trading.
Stocks versus bonds.
Stocks.
YouTube versus Instagram.
YouTube.
Cricket versus hockey.
A bit of both, but cricket.
Degrees versus skills.
Skills.
And last one, bonds versus Havel.
So bonds, I'll give you a brief. I joined the stock market in 88. And that time there used to be the outcry system. And there was my father's friend who was a broker and he could speak only Punjabi, neither Hindi or English. So I asked him which stock to buy. So bonds price was 50 rupees. So he said, काका पौंड का शेयर ले ले 18 साल दी जवान ते 78 साल दी बुजुर्ग रोज सवेरे शाम लाएगी meaning that buy the share of bonds even an 18-year-old girl or a 78-year-old lady will use it every day. This stock will never go out of fashion. That 50 rupee bonds is today worth 50,000. And Ponds is still the only brand which girls and ladies use. Old ladies also they cannot do without that. So that is the power of Ponds.
Got it. Lovely. Traits you look for before hiring someone to work with you.
Firstly, passionate. Secondly, willing to give all. And thirdly, wanting to learn. See, learning, staying with me means that you have to learn a lot. So you have to take it with a pinch of salt that there are no timings for me. For me, work means 24/7. And markets are such that overnight they can be change of circumstance. So you have to be adaptive, that you have to be adaptive to the market changes also.
Right. Favorite stock in your portfolio now?
Favorite stock is IRB Infra.
Okay. And last rapid fire question. One thing that no one knows about you.
Well, I think I'm well known, but I'm a rather humble person and who's totally family oriented. And I think my life revolves around stock market and stock market revolves around me. So nothing, no new startling revelations.
Got it. Lovely, sir. Thank you so much for your time. It was a great interaction with you. I'm very sure everyone who's watching this video are going to be inspired. They're going to get some way to start their journey of investing or trading. And thank you so much for always motivating us, even through your YouTube videos, through your stock tips as well on TV channels and all. So I've been an ardent follower of yours. It has really inspired me also as a person, not only to start my journey, but also to help other people manage their own money. So special thanks to you for that.
Thank you, Kushal. It's been an honor to be with a person as enlightened as you. And I really relish the comments you have given and the compliments. And I will make an effort that now with our team, we will take this forward. We want people to grow. And you must realize whatever best we can, we are giving you from the inner heart. If I'm doing this, all this means I'm sharing part of where I went wrong and where you shouldn't go and where you should prosper from the rights which we did. So it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. So guys, don't forget to subscribe to Sanjiv sir's channel. It's been amazing. You will get some short videos of 3 minutes each where he talks about stock markets. So don't forget to do that. Thank you so much, sir.